Lorena is likely to be Britain's next Prime Minister. Will illegal immigration explode on her watch? Well, a year ago, here's the headline from the Daily Telegraph. Angela Rayner, every part of Britain will take its fair share of migrants. So if she becomes the Prime Minister, is there an illegal immigrant coming to a town near you? Let's get the views of a very impressive lady. She's the organiser of the Braintree protests in Essex, which happened last weekend. And her official name, her stage name, if you like, is Free Speech Shelley. Hi, Shelley.
Hello, Mark.
Lovely to have you on the show. First of all, why did you decide to be the organiser of the protest in Braintree in Essex last weekend?
Well, I myself was a victim of migrant crime, along with my family, and I feel that the implications of unvetted men coming to our country is a danger, and it's being ignored.
Are you able, without going into too much detail, to give me a flavour of what happened in relation to the migrant crime that you suffered?
Yeah, so weapons were involved in the crime that was committed against my property and my family. There was a lot of police failures, and there is a court case coming very soon, and it's taken a long time to get there. But because of that...
Go on, you were going to say because of that?
Because of that, I feel that I have quite an understanding of a bit of a two-tier system that's happening across the country.
Most definitely. And I think there are some in the political world who don't understand that it's particularly bad if someone commits a crime against a Brit that shouldn't be here in the first place. That is worse than it happening at the hands of someone that's a citizen of this country.
Most definitely, and especially in my experience, you know, I've always been a taxpayer. Myself and my husband have never been, you know, arrested. We've got no sort of criminal background or anything like that. We did everything that we were supposed to do. We didn't retaliate. But unfortunately, it took a significant number of months for any sort of justice to take place. And I have children as well.
How are you bearing up in the aftermath of this crime that happened at the hands of an immigrant? What have you been going through emotionally since then, Shelley?
Well, at the time, I was 9 months pregnant, and I definitely suffered with, I would probably say, PTSD. I can't really remember the first 6 months of my son's life. It was a very troubling time, but I got the strength together because I don't want it to happen to anyone else. And members of my community are looking to me to help them and give them answers. And that's really what I want to do. I want to have good from this.
Yeah, well, I think that's a very, very generous thing of you to do, and very brave as well, Shelley. Tell me about those protests last weekend. How did they go?
It really was amazing. We had a lot of sort of local coverage and obviously media coverage of them trying to portray it as a very far right event, that, you know, that there was going to be issues, they closed the market. It was all very sort of dramatic. But it wasn't like that at all. It was an extremely peaceful event. There was actually only one arrest, which was from somebody on the left that was attempting to throw a milkshake on Tommy Robinson. So an agitator, basically. Yes, most definitely. But everybody locally and people that travelled down, they were perfectly peaceful. It actually was a really nice, united event, and I felt that people were able to really express how they were feeling. The public have had enough, haven't they, Shelley? Most definitely. I think people are looking beyond the surface now. They're looking at how things are being spent by the council, myself especially. Me and my protest team have been, you know, doing freedom of information requests. We've been finding out how they're spending our money locally. I mean, more people are waking up, and unfortunately, more people are having to do their own journalism because mainstream won't cover what's really going on. Indeed, including the real cost of illegal immigration, because it goes beyond migrant hotels, doesn't it? It does. I mean, where I live, obviously, with the Wethersfield Air Base, we have the largest amount of migrant men in the UK held in that base. And I think still a lot of people across the country believe that those men are held there, but they're not. They can leave at any time. They're bussed into our towns for activities. They can go missing, well, they can leave the base for up to 7 days, and the Home Office don't do anything until that time. Well, indeed. And what do you make of this headline? Because it's likely, Shelley, that Angela Rayner will be our next Prime Minister, with Keir Starmer under pressure. A year ago in the Telegraph, the headline, Angela Rayner, every part of Britain will take its fair share of migrants. What do you make of this policy of essentially filtering out these folk, normally undocumented young men, across the whole country? I think it's disgraceful. We have enough issues in our country that we need to deal with, and we need to get our house in order before we can take in anybody else. It's a disservice to our legal migrants who have actually paid to come here. Yeah. They love our values. They're here to support us. And instead, we are allowing people to come in illegally. They've broken the law to come here. And also, you know, we are taking a significant amount of men in. And where are the women and the children? Most definitely. And it is Brits of all backgrounds and colours who are unhappy with what's happening at the moment. This is not a far-right thing. It's not about skin colour, is it? It's about people that shouldn't be here in the first place that have broken into the country. Most definitely. Even in my protest group, I have Lebanese people, I have Indian, I've got Ukrainians, Polish, and it's really laughable, this rhetoric of racism. You know, you're racist if you feel this way. We're not. We can see what's happening to our country. We are, you know, there's plenty of money being spent on things for these migrants which shouldn't be happening. In my town alone, I mean, we're giving them art therapy, they're having cricket lessons, they've got their own football team. This money could be spent on nurturing the youth. You know, everybody says we've got a misogyny problem with boys. Well, let's nurture them. Let's give them some lessons with, you know, boxing, football. Let's do that.
More power to you. Shelley, how can people find out more about your campaign?
So we have a Facebook group, which is the official Braintree and Wethersfield protest group. I'm also on X, Free Speech Shell, and also on Facebook, Free Speech Shell.
Well, listen, thank you.
Police operation, the scale of which we usually only see on New Year's Eve, has been activated for the arrival of Israel's president. He's here to mourn, but activists plan to protest his visit. The Premier and Police Commissioner are having none of that, today ordering new heavy security, warning of widespread disruptions from the city to Bondi from Monday.
It's the VIP visit that's sparking a New Year's Eve scale response.
Over the 3 to 4 days that the President is here, we'll deploy over 3,000 police.
Authorities hoping for anything but fireworks.
We can disagree without it resorting to clashes or violence on Sydney streets. In fact, that would be devastating for everybody, regardless of your cause.
Well, our message is that Isaac Herzog's trip should be cancelled. If he does set foot in this country, he should be arrested.
I honestly believe this bloke needs to be locked up. 100% needs to be locked up, put away.
As the Palestine Action Group prepares for a protest rally at Town Hall Monday afternoon, the government declaring President Herzog's visit a major event, boosting police powers in an area covering the CBD from Town Hall to Circular Quay and from the Fish Market and Piermont across the eastern suburbs, including Bondi Beach and Bondi Junction.
To give directions to people to move out of an area, restricting people from coming to an area, restricting vehicles and people and the ability to search people.
On top of the existing bans on protest marches.
The police will not be mucking around.
Police rejecting a planned march from Town Hall to Parliament, protesters rejecting the police alternative Hyde Park towards Central.
We do not want to see violence. We do not want to see confrontation.
We, again, are not seeking any confrontation with the police. We're seeking a peaceful protest.
The Prime Minister says he and the Israeli President will be meeting with families of the Bondi terror attack victims.
I hope that people are respectful of the fact that this is a difficult time.
Transport for New South Wales also advising police operations will mean road closures on different days at Circular Quay, Bondi Beach, Darling Harbour, Queen's Park and Watson's Bay.
I'm hopeful that we are able to finish the week and look at ourselves and say, well, clearly we are a community that loves one another.
If you don't need to be in Sydney CBD on Monday afternoon, unless it's absolutely essential, we ask that you're not.
OK, let's go to Paul Caddock, who's at Town Hall. Paul, good evening.
So you've got to ask yourself, viewers, who's causing the division? It's the Muslims, it's the pro-Palestinians, it's the radical Islamic ideologists. Not the normal covert Muslims that just want to, get on with their lives. It's the radicals. The radicals. And the Aussies that are mixed up in it all, the useless idiots.
Seems the police and the protesters are deadlocked on this.
Michael, the Commissioner says police will continue to talk with protest organisers, still preferring they choose the Hyde Park option for their protest and rally. But this afternoon, the Palestine Action Group making clear that they will be rallying here at Town Hall, as promised, on Monday afternoon as part of what will be a nationwide day of protest. And as we go to where Transport for New South Wales is advising that road closures and bus route changes around Circular Quay will begin from midday tomorrow. Michael.
Paul Caddock there in the city, thank you.
We're joined as usual by Gemma Tognini from DT Communications and Sky News contributor Joe Hildebrand. Great to have you guys with us as usual. I want to start with something pretty serious. I mean, we got this visit on the weekend of the Israeli president. I mean, on Monday, I think he's in Sydney. Police have already raised security concerns. They're talking about potential protests. Amazing number of police talked about, 3,000 police. And they're going to march through, as I understand it, parts of the Sydney CBD that are still deemed places where you can't hold a protest march. Gemma, what's going to happen here? I mean, it doesn't fill me with great confidence that this is going to end well.
Well, I don't think anyone should have confidence that it's going to end well, and for the simple reason that this cohort of protesters have pushed the line time and time again and are prepared to defy the rule of law. We're all expected to obey the law. This mob continually thumbing their nose at the law. And, I mean, think about it this way. This is a president of a democratic nation, an OECD nation who's of the political left himself, and these people don't have any other agenda than hatred for Israel and a similar sentiment for the Jewish people. This is not anything about advocacy for any people. This is about hatred of Israel, plain and simple. We've seen it before. This is in many ways, Steve, a test for the Minns government, for the police commissioner here in New South Wales. They cannot let this cohort defy the law that the rest of us are respecting day in, day out.
Yeah, Joe's got to find 3,000 policemen, Lanyon. I don't know where he's going to do that because he doesn't seem to even be able to control e-bike riders who that police have now identified ahead of the visit to Australia by Israel's President Isaac Herzog. Now, authorities have warned Jewish leaders that they have serious concerns over their ability, that's the police's ability, to keep the Jewish community members safe at events that are linked to this trip. Joining me on the line, the Executive Manager for the Australian Israel Jewish Affairs Council, Joel Burney. Joel, thanks for your time. I've got to ask, there are fears violent extremists could exploit these protests and endanger Jewish community members. How worried are you about that this visit could actually turn violent?
Well, thank you, Steve. Well, I'm obviously very worried, and I tell you why I'm worried, because my community has experienced a growing and increasingly violent events and actions against it since the massacre of October 7, 2023. This is something that we are unfortunately becoming a little bit used to, where certain members of the Australian public think that it is reasonable to criticise, to attack, and to use violent threats against Jewish people for what they think is going on in the Middle East. And who would
is being urged to withdraw his invitation to the Israeli president ahead of his visit to Australia next week. Live to Amanda Kopp at Parliament House. Amanda, there are protests planned in several states.
Yeah, that's right, Jane. There are protests planned across the country ahead of this visit, despite police attempts to put a lid on them. A former Australian Human Rights Commissioner has even come out in the last 24 hours to say that the president should be arrested on arrival, citing a UN inquiry that's accused him of inciting genocide in Gaza. But the government is standing firm, saying it's about healing wounds for the Jewish community after the Bondi Beach attack.
He's doing so to show solidarity and support for a Jewish community that has just been ravaged by a terrorist attack.
The government has listened to the request of the Jewish community on this.
Yeah, I got a lot of time for Penny Wong, which is great, but I think she's wrong on this one.
Certainly a lot of disagreement over this one, Jane.
Amanda, thank you.
The Israeli president is here next week for what's sure to be a soothing time for the Jewish community. Protesters, on the other hand, are spoiling for a fight. So much for unity and social cohesion die. It could be an awful week ahead on the street.
This is going to be a week that's going to test our unity as a country. There is a moral, issue dilemma here. Obviously, there's a moral tug of war. On one hand, the Jewish community invited, and of course, that's what has happened. But then on the other hand, the protesters are pointing to the 70,000 casualties in Gaza. So it's going to be a very difficult time for Australia to test the one Australia.
That's tricky for the government, Swanee.
Look, he's here to honour the victims of Bondi, and everybody should keep that in mind. I'm not a big fan of the president, but he is the head of state, and we receive heads of state, we engage with them across the board, whether we support all their policies or not.
Would have thought, Steve, in this great country and great nation of ours, that after the horrific terror attack of the 14th of December last year, which targeted Jewish people and ended up in the innocent massacre of 15 people, that things in this country could even get worse from there. We're at a point now where I watched the New South Wales Police Commissioner very, very concerned about his inability to protect a segment of Australian society. This is a terrible indictment as to where we are in this nation, and it's incumbent on leaders to stand firm on not only welcoming President Herzog in the spirit that his invitation was intended, but to use whatever means possible to make sure that the streets of Australia are safe for everybody.
Well, somebody's suggesting, there could be as many as 3,000 police needed to be called out in New South Wales. Joel, I don't recall hearing, and I've been around a long time, the most senior police official of any state alerting a group that you might not be safe. Isn't the job of the police to keep people safe?
Not only is it their job, and I have full faith that they're trying with all the resources that they have to do the right thing. That I am sure of. But if you look at their concern, what it is essentially saying is that these protesters, it's not the message of their protest that they are concerned about. It's the tactics that they are employing during their protests, such as their violent hate speech and rhetoric, but also the probability that the movement and behaviour of these protests turn violent. So if we've had a proud history of free speech and protest in this country, walking down streets, chanting, flying fires, what have you, that's one thing. But the idea that Jewish people are not going to be able to be protected or potentially not safe in the country that they are a part of because of some attachment to what's going on thousands of kilometres away should not only raise fears inside my community, which it obviously does, but it shows that this nation has moved and progressed to an area that I don't think that the fair 26 million people of this great country are proud of. We need to unite together arm in arm after the horrific events of Bondi and say enough is enough. We want the violence off the streets. We want the violent rhetoric off the streets, and we want every Australian to feel protected, to feel secure without the anxiety of thinking that people are coming after them.
Well, Joel, on that very point, we've even got a New South Wales Upper House Labor MPs intending to go to these protests around the visit of Herzog. Have a listen to this Upper House MP from New South Wales.
He's a ceremonial head of state, but he still occupies a position of unique responsibility and authority. He deliberately blurred the distinction between combatant and civilian. Many people died after he did that. I think those are parts of the reasons why he's been found to have incited genocide. Is this really someone that we want in our country?
So he's accusing the president of inciting genocide. What do you say, Joel, to these people like that? I mean, and as well as him, you've got other senior MPs, including Ed Husick, saying the president shouldn't come here.
Very simply, to all of your audience, far and wide, they have got it wrong. Let me repeat it. They have got it wrong. They attached this claim to a press conference that was given a couple of weeks after the massacre in 2023, before any troops were in the ground in Gaza. They have completely misquoted the president. They haven't even looked at the rest of the press conferences and the answers that he gave to contextualize his previous comments. They got it wrong, and they are relying on misinformation. They will not check. They will not do a Google search because ultimately, Steve, they don't want to. And these are the same people that would roll out the red carpet if Ayatollah Khamenei was invited here after butchering 50,000 of his own people. Where are the protests for the Iranians? Where are the good, fair-minded left, intersectionalized left that have traumatized the Jewish community for over 2 years due to their desire to be, humanitarian warriors? Where is their humanity for anyone else? This is seen by our community as exactly what it is. It is a deep, deep hatred of Jews in this country that has been permissible in public for the past 2 and a bit years, and it culminated in the execution of 15 people on the beaches of Bondi Beach. Enough is enough. This is a great visit for the harmony of the Jewish people who have suffered so much over such a short period of time in this country. The president is coming here to embrace, to give warmth and to give solidarity to this community that is clear for all Australians to see. And this small minority of people that are causing such ruckus on the streets, it has to stop.
Herzog is not genocidal. That's all rubbish. Emerson says, how dare Albo MP say the genocidal Herzog is welcome to Australia? Many of us are absolutely do not welcome him. Well, that's this is completely out of your control. Independent MP Sophie Scamps is the latest to voice her consent. She's on the list in the picture on the left. To voice her concerns over the impendent visit of Israel President Isaac Herzog, claiming it risked igniting further division. Further division by the radical Muslim Islamists and pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas group at the very time when Australian leaders should be working to rebuild social cohesion and bring our nation together. They can't do it. The Labor Party can't do it. Herzog is visiting Australia in early February at the invitation of the federal Labor government to meet with the Jewish community and survivors of the Bondi terror attack in the wake of the shooting that left 15 people dead at a Hanukkah festival last month. Anthony Albanese will meet Herzog during his visit, the Prime Minister saying Herzog was welcome in Australia. But pro-Palestinian groups, including the Labor Friends of Palestine lobby group, have opposed his visit and called on the government to rescind the invitation over Israel's military operation in Gaza, which has left tens of thousands of civilians dead, which is Hamas's fault. Now, the federal politicians that are opposed to this visit, urging rescind and are going to protest against it, a couple of them, Ed Husick, Labor MP Chifley. He said he was very uncomfortable with the visit. and he made it very clear, but he's a Muslim, so he was never going to be comfortable with it. He's got to protect his seats and his group. Andrew Wilkie, Independent MP Clark, called the visit highly inappropriate and argued it was divisive. Sophie Scamps, Independent MP McKellar, fronted a joint statement press event opposing the visit. Zali Stegel, Independent MP Warringah, likewise part of the joint opposition statement press event. Herzog to be Maureen Farquhar. This woman's a lunatic. I don't even know how she's in the Federal Senate. For New South Wales, she definitely doesn't represent anything I follow or believe in. Publicly opposed the visit and called for Herzog to be arrested on arrival, which is completely comical based on her stated view of the relevant reports. David Shoebridge, Green Senator, New South Wales, opposed the visit in Parliament, related proceedings and public pushed action against it. Now, the New South Wales top state politicians are Cameron Murphy, Labor MLC, said that they should not be welcoming Herzog and plan to protest. This is the division in the Labor government. Stephen Lawrence, Labor MLC, planned to attend the protest, criticised extending protest restrictions around the visit. Sarah Kane, Labor MLC, planned to attend and speak at the rally, objecting to the visit. Jenny Leong, Greens MP Newtown, said she would march in protest against the visit. And Sue Higginson, Greens MLC, criticised the government, police restrictions and supported protests against the visit. This is the mentality of these people. They've had 15 Jewish people massacred in the biggest civil massacre in Australian history. And these people have got their nose out of joint because the Israeli Prime Minister is coming to comfort and stand with the Jews of Australia. On X, Mary Kostakidis, who was a Palestine radical fanatic pro-Hamas supporter. Let this sink in. 3,500 police will be diverted to the Sydney CBD for the Herzog visit, 5 of them for Monday's protest. There are obviously serious concerns for his safety, and the rally by protesters exercising a democratic right is not the real concern. Yes, it is. Let's face it, after Bondi, the concern is he may be shot. Gee, I don't know if she should be saying that. I mean, she's on the side of these people. A visit during such heightened concerns about safety, so Zionist leaders can make a point. All he's doing is coming to console the Jews in Australia. Gosh, this is radical. Remember the coup they pulled off when Herzog Sr. was invited by Hawke, who soon after spearheaded the reversal of the UN 3379? Yes, Australia take a bow. Hardly seems wise. For the cost to Australia, by who? How's it costing Australia? What's costing Australia is immigration, viewers. Criminals all over the country will be rejoicing. Now she's calling, hang on a sec. Mary Kostakidis, if you're calling civil Australians who believe Israel are an ally of our country, you're completely out of control, and you haven't got a right to say that about us. We are not criminals. A dream come true in communities that will be stripped of their normal police resources. Well, this is all a result of what the far left woke pro-Hamas people can do. This is what they can do. Oh well, viewers, there's the divisive politicians in Australia. Our allegiance with Israel is still intact for the most part, but the warp-minded, I'm just going to say warp-minded people saying genocide and all this and all the other, they don't even know the place. If they went to Palestine, they wouldn't last 5 minutes. I hope the Israeli Prime Minister has a great visit, that the Jews of Australia are encouraged and comforted. And that's where I'm going to go with this. I can't stand these pro-Hamas, radical, pro-Palestine troublemakers. The guy, Josh Lees, Josh Lees needs to be arrested for provoking division. I don't know where he's leading these people to. And for the most part, I hope that the Australian government, through the police and the New South Wales politicians that are trying to prevent trouble, have their way. Let's see what the pro-Palestinian people are really like on Monday. You watch this space. It's going to be ugly. Bye for now.